So, ladies and gentlemen, my name is Sharon Whiteman, and I'm very privileged to be here with Diana and Gary every week. And each and every one of you, I know Saturday is not the perfect time for people to be joining us, but we get a lot of people watching the recordings after, and we value you as well. We're really excited to have Naomi. It's been a while, a few months now, and I'd really like to acknowledge Naomi for always finding a way in her schedule to be here with us, the greater Manatech community, and our guests. So a little bit about her background. Manatech products have changed Naomi's life. She went from struggling with her health to thriving and experiencing peak health and energy levels. She's now a certified holistic health coach with a certificate in nutrition and 12 years experience in the wellness industry. Her background was in teaching, and she also owned a traditional retail business. While she was introduced to Manatech because she was looking for income and other ideas, her wellness experience catapulted Naomi into action. She went from struggling to make ends meet and going further into debt to an international business and traveling the world. One of her favorite things to do is to travel to new destinations and experience the cultures there. Aside from her wellness knowledge and the way she supports the community, she's also a multi-award business winner, including 3 times recognized as Business Builder of the Year. As one of Manatech's Australasia's top business success coaches, Naomi is well known for her marketing prowess. She's a mom to 3 beautiful children who are a big reason why she is busy partnering with Manatech. And in this call, we're talking everything about menopausal and hormonal health for women through all our various life phases that we are privileged to go through. So Naomi, thank you so much for being here, and I'm looking forward to sitting back and learning from you.
Thank you so much, Sharon, for having me on, and Diana and Gary. As always, we always appreciate everything that you do for the Manatech community. It's amazing what you do every Saturday morning and all throughout the year as well. So thank you.
Awesome. Well, I'm just going to go off camera and I'm going to sit back and learn.
Okay. So I have a lot to get through this morning, so make sure that you have your pens and papers ready, and I'm going to kind of power through the information, but you can always come back and watch it again if you wanted to pick something else up, because there is a lot of information, because menopause is a pretty big subject, and so I hope that you get something out of this morning. And I'm going to share my screen now. Okay, my topic this morning is how to thrive through menopause naturally. And, you know, that's the big thing about what I want to talk to you about this morning, is that word naturally. And there's lots of different things that you can do for menopause. And I think there is a lot of confusion out there on what's the best way to go. But this morning, I'm going to talk to you about some natural things that you can do to thrive through menopause. The first thing I want to tell you is menopause is not a disease. It's just a natural part of life, and it can, for many, and I'm not diminishing this at all, but it can be a challenging time. But it's not a disease where we have to try to suppress the symptoms. That's a big thing that we don't want to be doing, is just suppressing the symptoms. We want to look at the symptoms and go, well, what can we do to reduce those symptoms, rather than just putting something on top or suppressing it with something else? Because generally—
Naomi, sorry to jump in. I can't see your screen, actually.
Oh, okay.
I thought it was just me, but someone else
me.
Is it confirmed? 2 other people have confirmed.
Okay, I've got 2 screens going, and sometimes that can be a little confusing.
I wouldn't dare try.
Okay.
Kiddo, can see it now.
Can see? Awesome. So it's all good?
Perfect. Thank you.
Awesome. Okay, so like I was saying, it's not something that we need to suppress symptoms, but we need to sort of find out, well, how can we reduce those symptoms and what's happening in our bodies at this time? It's a natural progression, it's a natural transition, but we do need to make some changes at this time. And I know sometimes we want to hold on to old habits, but this is actually a time where we need to look at what's going on in our body and make those changes that we can. So you might not know that it can even begin in your 30s. So, you know, some women start 35. So I know that might feel like, oh, wait a minute, that's an older woman's problem. Well, it can start earlier, but the average age for perimenopause, that's when you start to see some of those symptoms, is between 40 and 44, and then menopause is between 49 to 51. So these are some of the things that can happen in your body. And I know it like, oh, wow, it looks like a lot. But if you're not there yet, there is ways that you can help your body through this time. So we're looking at, from the top, hair loss, watery eyes, memory lapse, and all of the things that can happen in our brain. Then we go to allergies. So many women at this time of life start to notice allergies start to form. Dry mouth, itchy, dry skin, hot flashes, night sweats, body odor, breast pain, irregular heartbeat, palpitations, digestive issues, loss of libido, vagina dryness, painful sex, irregular menstrual periods, and then it moves into no menstrual period, frequent urination. Wow, I didn't know about that one. Urgency, urinary pain, brittle nails, joint pain, stiffness, osteoporosis, swelling and tingling. So lots of changes can happen in our body, and we start getting these symptoms that, you know, we've never had this before, and or we might have experienced a little bit, but it sort of is getting worse as we move into this phase. You're silently struggling with the symptoms, and many women do. They struggle with these symptoms and just go, okay, I've just got to get through the day. And then you try to find answers, and it's not always easy. You go to a doctor, and it's not always easy to find answers. And this can often make you feel confused, frustrated, and at a loss to know what to do. And I fully understand. I'm 51 now. I went through menopause about 2 years ago. And I went through what is like a whammy trifecta, I call it. I went through menopause. We had the COVID stress and everything that went with that, and probably too much comfort eating and maybe a bit too much alcohol. And then I also went through a divorce. So lots of stressful things were going on in my life. And I just was noticing all these things going on in my body. And so I really needed to find answers and research what to do about this. So like Sharon said, I'm a mum of 3. My youngest is almost 17, so my oldest is 23. And I'm a certified holistic health coach, certified in nutrition, and also a mindset coach in NLP as well. So helping women really work through those mindset things that are happening. So it's really a holistic approach that I like to take. You can't just pick out one thing and say, well, let's work on your body when your mind's not, in the right place, and then your soul and your spirit. So we want to all connect those together and get your whole body working well together. So the secret to managing menopause effectively in the short and long term. So remember, this can often set off a chain of events as you age. And if you don't manage it now, you can suffer long-term issues. The secret is to support the body through this natural process. And I'm going to talk to you more about that natural process. But I want you to know, and this is really important, it is possible for you to have more energy, to lose that fat, to feel happier, be more positive about life, feel calm and lighter. So just know that rather than looking at the symptoms and going, oh, doom and gloom, this is my lot in life, I want you to know that you can do things to turn that around. So let's have a look firstly at what are the drivers of the symptoms of perimenopause, because that's where it all starts, perimenopause, moving into menopause. That's a year menopause is a year once you haven't had your period. So just so you know the difference of that. But perimenopause is when it starts to happen. It does still carry on through menopause and beyond, just letting you know that as well. Age, of course, well, it's a natural thing. After 35, your eggs are starting to run out and ovulation can become more erratic. This affects the production of estrogen and progesterone. So just know that it's a natural thing. Your hormones are starting to change. There's some fluctuations happening, and that's all part of getting older. It doesn't have to be a bad thing. But there is this period, and it's this risk period of estrogen dominance, which, you know, many times we think about menopause and we think, oh, you have a lack of estrogen. Well, that's true once you hit there. But there's this period where you can actually have like what's called a roller coaster of your hormones, of estrogen. They go up, they go down. And so sometimes you get a blood test and it doesn't really show you what's going on. But this estrogen dominance risk period is where you start to see a lot of those symptoms coming in, and they're very exaggerated, especially when you've got estrogen dominance, which means you've got higher, generally through life, you know, estrogen is balanced by progesterone. But when you have more estrogen is when you start to experience these symptoms, and it can be worsened through different things, which I'm going to talk about. So we really want to be aware that, you know, it's not always the lack of estrogen. It's actually a lot of women are experiencing this dominance of estrogen, and it's causing a lot of those symptoms. So popping on some sort of hormone or something to bring up your estrogen is definitely not always the right thing to do. Obviously, speak to your doctor, but you know, I'm just trying to explain what can happen here with the fluctuations, and I definitely experienced those fluctuations. I could feel my body going through it. It was crazy. So let's go through some other things that are happening. Genetics. So genetics play a role in your menopause symptoms, but I want you to know you can change that. So, you know, if your sister had a terrible time, if your mother had a terrible time, you don't have to think that you're going to have that. And really important is everything starts in our mind first. So we think if it's going to be terrible, it's going to be terrible. So I want you to know you can change that. So these things that I'm going to talk about this morning will help you alter that outcome for you. Stress. This is massive. And I do think through this time of life, there's a lot of stresses. We've got teenagers maybe, and, you know, kids are getting older. There's lots of old aging parents maybe to look after. We've got, you know, jobs are you know, demanding. So any kind of stress on the body can be a major disruptor in your hormone journey. Cortisol can not only have an impact on your energy, your mood, and your brain function and metabolism, but it also can suppress your thyroid and sex hormones and gut health, making your symptoms even worse. So stress is a major problem in the impact on your symptoms. So what happens when you get stressed? You get into this fight or flight mode. And, you know, when that happens, your body is flooded with cortisol. And we are not Wonder Woman. We are not about to go out and, you know, fight people or, you know, lasso someone. We are just maybe facing a fight with a family member or a boss or something like that. And you're just flooding your body with this cortisol all the time. Well, cortisol is the queen of hormones. So, you know, when cortisol takes precedent over everything, so it suppresses your other hormones. And this can greatly impact everything in your body. So it's not just what's happening in menopause, but this can actually make it worse. Toxins are a massive thing. So these are endocrine disrupting chemicals, can mimic or alter hormones, especially estrogen, and impair mitochondrial function, your energy battery cells. So we are exposed to over 2 million chemicals a day. And I'm going to talk a lot about that. So you can see that perfume. I do not go near perfume anymore. And I'll talk to you about that. But when we are exposed to these hormones, that can cause that estrogen dominance. And then also we're not getting enough nutrients in our diets. So people are malnourished, they're not getting the nutrients in their food, they're turning to junk food. We've got green harvesting, we've got depleted soils, cold storage. So, your food's in storage for a year. And then we try to, make it up with some synthetic vitamins, and we're not getting any benefit from them. And the main thing is we're not getting enough phytonutrients in our diet. We need between 50 to 80 milligrams. We're getting between 1 to 3. So there is a real shortcoming in the nutrients that our bodies need to function at its best. Sugar. When we have too much sugar and carbs, which break down into sugar. So please remember that if you're having lots of carbs, which is the breads and the flours and things like that, they do break down into sugar into your diet. We produce too much insulin to get it out of our blood. So that's how our bodies work. Insulin can further stimulate estrogen production as well as lay more fat, which produces more estrogen. So it's like this vicious cycle. You start to go there, and then it can actually lead to insulin resistance. And this is the cells get full when we continually have too many sugars and carbs. So they just get full. Insulin then stores it as fat, generally around the abdomen. So that's that menopause belly that often happens for women. And after a while, it just stops responding. It just stops, and it just goes, it converts it straight to fat. So you might think, I'm done to things and I'm trying so hard and I'm still putting on weight. Well, you're probably gone into that insulin resistance. And some people say about 80% of menopausal women are in that place. So it can happen. And then what happens is energy levels drop. So you reach for the sugar to get those energy. Your energy levels drop because there's not enough in the cells, and the cells is where we need it. It's getting stored straight as fat. Great. So estrogen, it actually protects us a bit from that insulin resistance. So estrogen, through our lives, we might have got away with a little bit more, but as the estrogen drops right off, that protection that used to happen is reduced. And so that's why we're getting this insulin resistance, and that can lead to diabetes and other health problems. So just know that could be the place. Alcohol. A new Australian study published in the Drug and Alcohol Review Journal shows that 21% of women between 45 and 60 are now drinking at binge drinking levels. So they're not having a couple of wines. This is binge drinking levels. And I was really surprised to find out that middle-aged women between 45 to 64 drink more alcohol than any other age group. And I think what happens is, you're tired, you reach for the glass of wine because it's relaxing, but it can cause so many problems in your body. It is a toxin. Just remember that. It's a nice tasting toxin, but it is a toxin in your body, and it does cause, it's hard on your liver. And I'm going to talk about that soon in a moment too. Medications, certain medications can disrupt your hormones, including the birth control pills, synthetic HRT, steroids, antidepressants. So just know that medications can do that, but it also can, both of those things can cause liver overload. So non-alcoholic fatty liver disease doubles in incidence in women as they move through more menopause. So it doubles. So you don't even have to be having alcohol, but your your liver is struggling. It's getting older, and we really need to think to take care of it. And if it struggles to process and eliminate the toxins, so we've got these toxins coming in, we've got this alcohol, caffeine. I didn't talk about that. I've actually gone off caffeine. I can't believe it. Wasn't easy. I did love my coffees, but I occasionally have a decaf. I know that has some chemicals, but that's my little thing. But other than that, I have other drinks or drugs, and then hormone metabolism can be affected. So we need to keep our liver working well, because it's struggling as we get older. Gut health. If your gut is not working optimally, certain hormones might be metabolized or converted properly. So, a lot of these things lead to poor gut health as well, especially stress, because when you're stressed, you'll find you get those tummy things. And like I was getting bloating. Oh man. And when you're stressed, it shuts down your digestive system, because it shuts down everything, because you don't need to process food when you're trying to chase a tiger. So a lot of women feel that those issues within their gut, but there's also those other things that can contribute to that. Inflammation. So, a lot of times our bodies can get quite inflamed. And estrogen is a natural anti-inflammatory. So it actually covers up a lot of that inflammation that's caused by poor diet, food sensitivities, and infections. And so, it kind of masks it, and you think, you kind of get away with it a little bit. But as estrogen drops again, that natural anti-inflammatory stops working. And so you feel all these, aches and pains. You start to get more histamine issues and sensitivities. So we really want to be aware of it. While we might have got away with things before, we can't continue on that path, because if you have a lot of inflammation in your body, it can cause all sorts of other health issues. And so a lot of these things, if we continue on that path, it can lead to other health issues. So we really want to look at, okay, what can we do now to live, to age healthy, to age naturally healthy, and be vibrant in life. For me, my genetics is I've got diabetes in my family, I've got heart disease, I've got dementia, I've got strokes, I've got all sorts of things. And so for me, it's really important for me to look at, okay, what am I doing now to make sure I have a healthy future? And I hope you do too. So let's go into the 7 steps to manage your menopause naturally. And I know there was a little bit of bad news there, and it was like, oh my gosh, all those things. Well, that's okay. That's just information to help you make better choices. And it's always about the decisions and the choices that you make that determine your destiny. And you can change things around now. I don't know what age we've got people of all different ages here. Even if you're younger, that's okay. You can start to think about these things. Even if you're past menopause, you can change that all around now, and start to make those lifestyle choices. And I put an avocado there because I love avocados. I have about half an avocado a day, beautiful natural plant fats and full of vitamins and minerals. So I do love avocados. So the first thing, and I have to say this, you have to reduce your stresses. So look at your life and okay, what is it that's bringing this stress? And, if you're on your phone or your laptop a lot and you've got notifications and things like that, take time away from that, because we're constantly bombarded with emails, with problems. Take time away from that and look at how, okay, what can I do in my life to reduce the stress? What can I, and take this seriously, because, this is probably the biggest cause of all sorts of symptoms in your life. So look at number one, how to reduce those stresses. I'm going to talk about some other things, how to help your body in other ways as well. So one of the things that you want to ask yourself with your, are you stressed? Are you in, that state of stress all the time? So one thing that you can ask yourself, is your tongue currently sitting on the roof of your mouth? So if your tongue is sitting on the roof of your mouth, or you're probably not stressed at the moment, but if you find yourself with that tongue on the roof of your mouth a lot, and that was one thing I was doing a lot. It's like I was always tensing my mouth, my tongue was on the roof. Do you suffer from those afternoon slumps? We know those afternoon slumps. It's like you're just feeling slumped. You just go into this, I just want to sleep. I'm exhausted. I'm sick of everything. Yeah, it's like now I've got to cook dinner and I've got to do all this stuff. Are you waking in the morning feeling fatigued? So you're still fatigued when you wake in the morning, or you're just not feeling refreshed. It's like, oh, I don't feel great. Would you describe yourself as being tired? So you're tired at night, but then you're also wired, like you can't get to sleep. So it's like you can't sleep, you're wired. And then also if your sleep is very disrupted. So they're sort of the things, other things that can happen is you get headaches, you feel, tightness in your neck, things like that. So look at ways that you can reduce those stresses in your life. So, you might need to remove certain things, maybe certain people, whatever it is. Look at those, and a lot of times it could be financial. So, okay, what can I do that's different here? And if you're in the Manatech business, well, there's ways that you can increase your income there if it is a financial stress. Create healthy eating habits, and this is really, I'm not talking about diets. Diets, they work for a little while, but if you see it as a diet, I mean, if I ever go on a diet, the first thing I want is a whole bunch of food to shove in my mouth. It's like this mental thing, like, oh, I'm gonna do this diet, and yeah. So we really want to think about creating those healthy eating habits that it's like, will do us over time. I very rarely have sugar now. I might, if it's a special occasion and there's a cake or something like that, I'll have it. But very rarely will I have sugar. Actually, I found a no added sugar chocolate at the supermarkets. I have a little bit of that sometimes at night. But, I've really reduced sugar. And I was the sugar, like I used to make muffins pretty much daily. And I was having the carbs and the sugars and things like that, so really reduced. And that was something that came through from my mother, my grandmother. She used to make cinnamon rolls. I'd wake up, she was American, and I wake up in the morning to these beautiful cinnamon rolls. So it's just about starting to really create those habits. And I want you to see it as a habit. I'm creating healthy habits because I want to age healthy. And that's what's really important. So understand, please, not all calories are equal. So if you're calorie counting, please don't, because, avocado is very high in calories, but it's very nutritious. So we really want to be nutrition counting. That's more important. Diet Coke, for example, has 0 calories, but look at all the things that are inside Diet Coke. You're flooding your body with chemicals. And remember how I talked about those toxins. These are toxic in your body. And even the artificial sweeteners are toxic and can cause all sorts of side effects in your body. So don't think that artificial sweeteners are great. They're not. Stay away from them. So if you stay away from those artificial sweeteners. What foods to reduce and avoid? Let's go through that first. So processed foods, okay? alcohol, obviously, caffeine. If you are drinking a lot of caffeine in a day, you really want to reduce that down, maximum of 1 if you need to. But I was, like I said, I loved my coffee, but it really wasn't serving me well at this time of my life. It's never really been a problem, but I was noticing when I was having it, anxiety and different things. So I've given that up. Soft drinks, you can actually get some nice mineral waters that are naturally flavored. And so you feel like you're having a little bit of a soft drink, but, it's not got all the nasties. Or just, a bit of mineral water with some lime. I do that a lot, and it's just quite satisfying. So of course we need to remove that sugar, the white flour, chemicals, preservatives. So if you've got all of those things, processed meats, instant noodles, margarine, fry foods, chips, microwave popcorn, any popcorn really, cakes and pastries. So really want to get rid of those processed things. And, I'm not the food police. You can have it occasionally. Like I will have a cake or something, or, on a special occasion, but having that daily or, all through the week, it's really not serving you well. And you've got to think about, well, how do I want to age? Because that's really where it comes down to. How do I want to age? Who do I want to be in this process? And, sometimes we hold on to things that are harming us and not helping us to become that person that we really desire to be. So get that vision of that person in your mind and move towards her. Or, and that's what you really want to be doing. No, this isn't going to serve me right now. This isn't who I want to be. So I'm going to make a better choice in this moment. So let's go into what foods to eat. Low GI foods. So the glycemic index is simply a measurement of how fast particular foods will break down into glucose once it's eaten. The higher the glycemic index, the faster it's absorbed. So if you see pure glucose has 100, fibrous veggies have a GI of lower than 10. So that's, remember those things as you are thinking about, okay, what sorts of foods to eat. And I would also recommend looking at the carb count of foods, because remember that carbs can turn into sugar. So you really want to be aware of that. And this is just something that you do over time. I'm not saying it's going to happen overnight. And please remember, this is not a quick fix. This is something that you work through. You've written your notes, you write out, okay, what's some things that I want to change in my life? And then you make those changes over time. You don't have to do it overnight. And then don't expect things to happen overnight. Your body, everybody's different. And then and that's why no diet also works for everybody, because, your body is different and you need to find what's going to work for you. What works for me might not work for you. So, you've got to find what works for you. But this is sort of the overall thing of how to eat. And you can find this glycemic quick guide on truehealthfitness.com.au. There's lots of other resources there if you're looking to change your diet, but you can print that off and then you've got a pretty good idea on what's higher, what breaks down faster. And then the top 4 ways to make sure you're eating high quality foods. Make sure the food is in its real whole form. Okay, that's a really easy thing. If it comes out of a cardboard box, it's likely it won't be. So remember that. In its real whole form. Eat foods that were grown in healthy soil and without the use of chemicals. So you can do this by buying your own food or by buying from organic farmers. If you've got a farmer's market, it's great here in Kos. We've got a farmer's market. Eat food as close to harvest as possible. So look at food. Okay, so what what is in season, and what could you buy in season? Think about that when you're buying. When eating meat or fish, make sure the animal is allowed to graze freely. You don't want them all in cages, and because that's making an animal stressed, and it comes through in they're in the meat or the eggs. So we want to make sure that they get to roam free. Now, it's always good to eat organic when you can, but I understand organic is expensive. So these are my top tips for eating organic on a budget. So grow your own. So where you can, grow your own food. You will get, you can see it from beginning to end. Buy from a farmer's market. So you can actually go up to the farmer, the person that grows it, and ask them about it. Buy direct from the farms. Look for specials at the supermarket. So this is something I'm always doing. Okay, the frozen berries are on sale. Okay, I'm going to buy, a whole bunch of packets of the frozen berries, because sometimes we look at the expense of the frozen berries, but they're actually less expensive than buying the fresh berries, and they're nice. You can make a little berry puree. They're great in your smoothies. That's pretty much my favorite, is adding those organic berries into my smoothies. So always look for specials. The supermarkets always have specials. I go to the Coles supermarket and there's the organic broccoli on special. So I look at what they've got on special, and I buy those things. Buy in season, buy in bulk. And if you can't go 100% organic, which, it's hard for us all to go 100% organic, that's they're expensive. Start with the Dirty Dozen. So this is the Australian Dirty Dozen: apples, strawberries, pears, grapes, lettuce, nectarines, peaches, cabbage, celery, cucumber, mushrooms, and tomatoes. So, start to think about those ones of going more organic, or really getting a very good fruit and vegetable wash. And I didn't put this in, but I use something from a place called Koala Eco, and I buy their products, and it's a fruit and vegetable wash. You can probably get it at a health food shop, and you can just wash your fruit and vegetables. I know there's other natural things that you can do as well to wash your fruit and vegetables. Now, there's certain foods, and remember what I said about as you age, you do sometimes have allergies that appear that you didn't have before. So be aware of this. You might think, oh, I'm all right with that. I've always been good. But these foods can cause an adverse reaction. These are in particular, I've actually had a food sensitivity test to see the full spectrum. But, you can always tell with your body. For me, I started to notice that gluten was not doing well in my body. And for a lot of people, that's the case. Dairy as well needs nuts and seeds, soy, shellfish, corn, eggs. So they may appear as hives, eczema, redness around the eyes, itchy mouth, nausea, vomiting, diarrhea, stomach pain, gas, bloating. Bloating is a big thing. You might have something and then your tummy's out like a rock. So really pay attention to those things, because if you keep eating the foods that you are sensitive to, it causes that inflammation. And remember what I said about estrogen. Estrogen is that natural anti-inflammatory. So we really want to be looking at get an odd taste in your mouth. Headaches is a big thing. I did bleach a little bit ago. I was trying to do something and I used a bit of bleach. Wow. Got a massive headache, feeling down or anxious, nasal congestion and a runny nose, sneezing or wheezing, and a silent dry cough. The next thing that we really want to do, and this is that offset of removing the stressors, but then also being able to put your body into that relaxation mode. And it's going to be different for people, depending on, what it's not just, thinking good thoughts. We need to really work this into our life. So thinking about breath work, spending time outdoors. For me, that's a big thing. I go for walks every day. I get outdoors because I do two things, actually three things. I get to walk the dogs because they need walking. I walk myself, it's exercise, but I also get to really experience nature, and that's relaxation. It might be baths, it might be meditation, yoga, whatever that is for you. And I put in self-love there too, because sometimes we're so hard on ourselves. We look in the mirror, and I'm guilty of this, like looking at all of the faults and, being harsh on ourselves. And, it's time that we gave ourselves some love and, look at how amazing you are and all the things that you've gone through in your life. So it's really important, rather than putting yourself down, saying how bad you are, because that feels like an attack, and it can actually, your body doesn't understand it, and it can feel like you're attacking yourself. So you really want to find those ways, and that might be some affirmations. You might put a little stick-it note on your mirror to remind yourself. I've got a laminated thing beside my bed with some affirmations that remind me of who I am. And then I'm also, I reframe the thoughts a lot that I think, I reframe those to think better thoughts. So work on that. And, whatever way that is for you, find it. There's lots of people that teach on this sort of stuff. Find those answers to help you through this stage of life, because it is a challenge. It can be a challenge for a lot of women. And I'm in groups on Facebook, and the women are suffering. They're suffering through this stage, and they feel hopeless. And so this is where we can have an answer for them. Reduce toxins. So, I talked about the damage that toxins can do. So this is a time of your life, if you haven't already started it, you've really got to look at, okay, what kind of toxins have I got coming onto my body? What kind of toxins are in my house? What kind of toxins am I eating in my food? So use the least toxic cleaners you can. There's lots out there, but keep in mind that hot soapy water and diluted vinegar can take care of most cleaning tasks. A little hack, those little cleaners, and you put the usually the dish soap in to wash your dishes in. A little hack is you put half dish soap, half vinegar, and that's for your shower. So, you keep it in your shower and give it a good clean down, and it works great. So, that's what I've been doing as well, so that I'm not ingesting that horrid toxic chemicals. Use non-toxic personal hygiene products, cosmetics. I've completely moved to all organic cosmetics, and I definitely feel the difference. If someone ever puts makeup, I've had makeup put on me, I literally get all watery. I had my makeup done for some photos. I couldn't, my eyes were all watery. I was a mess. So I like my cosmetics now. They make a biggest difference. Sunscreens, please, please, please. These can be very, very toxic. Reduce those toxins. And I've actually put over here our face products, our youth system, amazing products. They really work for anti-aging, which we all want at this time of life, but they don't have all those nasty chemicals in them as well. So you can trust these products. That's such a great system. If you get that, that can be the first place that you start to really change your cosmetics. And every time you put something on your skin, think about, do I want this absorbed into my bloodstream? Because and think about what it's doing. So limit the use of plastics and non-stick cookware, water, make sure it's filtered, and then wash your vegetables well. If you're not doing organic, even if you are, you can still wash them. Exercise, this is going to be different for everybody, but at this time of life, we don't need more stress on our body. And some of those crazy exercise things, you know, you get on the treadmill and you're there for an hour, that's just going to cause more stress. Find an exercise that, you know, that you enjoy, that you can do. And it's really about movement as well. We want to be getting to about that, you know, 7,500 steps a day is a great place to be to. So if you're not doing near that, just start somewhere. That's all I did. I started somewhere and I was more aware that I wasn't moving. I actually got an Apple Watch. You don't have to get an Apple Watch, but you can, there's lots of other things that help measure that. To be more aware of how much I'm moving. And I realized, oh my gosh, I'm not moving very much. Even though I was walking, the rest of my day I wasn't moving. So I find ways to move around, go upstairs, you know, walk through the day and find those ways. But with exercise, you really want to find something that works for you, but be committed to it. And, you know, rather than thinking badly about it, think positive thoughts about what it's doing for your body and start somewhere. So if you're not doing much, just start something, start some sort of habit and then increase it, because you'll feel more energetic and well with doing that. And supplementation, okay, we must supplement. Our bodies have gone through a really challenging time, and with the hormones, you know, doing all sorts of things, we need to supplement because our requirements are greater during this time as well. So let's have a look at some things that we can have. Like, these are called the happy pills. Well, that's what I call them. These are plus. And so these furnishes the raw materials for your endocrine system support. So they are a hormone modulator. They help your body produce the hormones it needs to stay balanced and functioning optimally. They're not a hormone replacement or anything like that. They just help your body do what it needs to do. So if your estrogen's high, it helps modulate that. If it's low, you know, it's going to help your body do well during this time. And it has one of the highest concentrations of natural plant-based phytosterols on the market today. And it's formulated using wild yams. So this is a definite must as you go through this time of life. Then we have catalysts. And honestly, I just think this is amazing product. I love this product. The ingredients in this product are exceptional. They are ingredients, that nutrients that our bodies need. We must get those B vitamins because they get depleted during this time. So we must be. It provides more than 100% of the daily recommended dose of vitamin C, thiamine, riboflavin, niacin, vitamin B6, vitamin A, vitamin B12, biotin, pantothenic acid, iodine, magnesium, zinc, selenium, copper, and chromium. So it is packed, and then it's got all of those other vitamins. But what I really want to highlight here as well is that it has adaptogens. So adaptogens are natural substances that help the body adapt to stress and exert a normalizing effect on body processes. So it helps us through those times of stress. So, you know, you really, this is a power-packed product. Really, the things that you can see, all the things on the left there that does for your body, amazing, must have. I can't speak highly about that. And then we need omega-3 fish oil with vitamin D. This is ultra pure, high potency, high concentrated. Okay. Studies show that omega-3 is an essential fatty acid that plays a major role in improving your menopause transition. And they've also found that vitamin D3 and omega reduce inflammation, which is really important because remember, we don't have the estrogen to do that. And this all comes in a bundle, and this is a great bundle. And it's called the Zen bundle, which is definitely what we need, some Zen. And so you've got the Catalyst, the Plus, the Omega, and you're investing in your health for 165. Like, seriously, we need to start to think about our bodies like that. We're investing in a healthy future, and this isn't something that you take for a couple of months. That don't do that. This is something that you take for life. Really important that you continue that to get those nutrients that your body needs. And then we must have that cellular health. Cells are everything, and this helps that cell-to-cell communication, so that all of those products actually do what they're supposed to do. It helps that cellular communication. So that is the ambrotos. And I also like to recommend this, because sometimes it's not always easy eating healthy. And this is something that you can grab. They're great shakes. I have them often. And it's got everything that you need. If I'm traveling, I put it in my little bags and I take it with me. Because if I can't find a good meal, I'm just going to add that to water, and I've got a good nutritious meal. And you can see how it's packed with nutrition as well. So you're really flooding your body with that great nutrition. And support. So, one of the things, if you buy, your products from a health food stop or from online, you don't always get that support you need. But when you get them through, the person that referred you to this, you're going to get that support, and they're going to give you lots of resources, and they're just going to help you through the process of taking the products the right way. And through this time, it's really important that you have that support. And one of the great things about being in the Manatech community is it's a very supportive community. And, if you've got any health concerns or anything like that, people are there to support you. And it's a very, you want to be in a community that is forward thinking and positive thinking. And this is definitely that community. So if all this did was give you more energy, would it be worth it? Helped you feel less stressed? Would it be worth it? Feel happier? Would it be worth it? Helped you be a calmer mum and partner? Would it be worth it? And I would say many would say yes. The great thing about our products is that they do come with a 90-day money-back guarantee. That's a great reassurance, but really, if you're going to be taking these products, you want to be taking them for a long time to really get those benefits. This isn't an overnight thing. You want to be taking these products long term, because you'll start to see more benefits. But not just take the products, you want to be thinking about those other things to support your body in those other ways, because if you're just taking products and not doing those other things, sometimes they don't do as well in your body. Now you have two choices. First option, do nothing and watch things get worse. We don't want that. Make this small investment into your health. Get the support you need and thrive. Support your hormones through menopause and come back to feeling like you again. Like I said, this isn't an overnight solution. This is a plan for healthy aging. And that's what we all want. We want to have that healthy aging into the future, feeling good, feeling energetic, and looking forward to the future rather than dreading it. It's time to come back to you. And maybe if you've gone through menopause or you're going through it, it can feel like, oh, I'm not myself anymore. But you can come back to you. And I want to encourage you today, go back, write down the notes, write down a little bit of an action plan on, what the steps that you're going to take. And then, you don't have to do it overnight, but you can start to implement it. As you run out of something in your makeup, your foundation, go and find a good organic one. As all your products in your house, start to, gradually remove those out. But it is a process, and, even the supplements, it is a process of seeing your health coming back. But Be committed to it. It does work. And you can come back to feeling like yourself again. So thank you so much, everybody, for coming on today. I really appreciate it. I know there's lots of things going in the chat. I haven't been able to check that, but I've really loved doing this with you today.
Naomi, holy moly. What an awesome presentation. So comprehensive, just like it's packed, just full of wisdom. Awesome job. Thank you so very much.
You're welcome.
Great. So ladies and gentlemen, I know this will get shared far and wide, and Naomi, I'll send you the chat. There's massive gratitude in there and acknowledgement for you. And next week we're following on in this topic with Dr. Nugent. So everybody hears messages differently. You'll know people who would prefer to hear from a Naomi, this amazing presentation today, or be listening to Dr. Nugent. We like to provide a wide range, and God bless you all. Thank you for being here. And once again, thank you, Naomi.
Thank you.